Your zakat can change lives. It can help them have smiles. It can help them see a future full of opportunities and love. Donate your zakat to our cause to help the orphans, children, and the vulnerable. Your zakat donation has incredible power. Give zakat to Basma to save lives and serve humanity.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Janan Sarwar, and on behalf of iTVusa, I'd like to welcome you to our daily show called Our Prosperous Ramadan. On this show, we interview inspirational Muslims to learn more about what they do in their professional spheres and communities and how they're prospering this Ramadan. I'd like to acknowledge Basma, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping the underprivileged of Bangladesh. I'm very honored today. Today is the 30th of April. We're almost done with Ramadan, but I wanted to really honor our guest. Her name is Sister Safiyyah Abdul-Qawiyy. MashaAllah, she's both an immigrant and currently the founder of the Muslim Sisters of Staten Island. She started this group, Muslim Sisters of Staten Island, 8 years ago, due to her passion for women empowerment and supporting children. Sister Safiyyah is a mother and a grandmother. She has served as a Girl Scout leader of Greater New York for over 12 years. Her experiences are vast. Not only has she been an adjunct professor at the College of Staten Island, but she's been a registered nurse for over 20 years with experiences in open heart surgery, urgent care, the ICU, and OBGYN services. She currently serves as the registered nurse care team supervisor. Over the years, she's won multiple awards and recognitions as a community leader and even serves as a board secretary in Ashura in New York. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome this sister today. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair for taking the time to speak with me today. You know, I mentioned things, I may have said a few things wrong. Is there anything that you'd like to clarify or add to in your beautiful experience before I begin asking any questions?
The only thing to clarify, I am the current board secretary of the Majlis Ashura of New York, the first woman on the Ashura, so it's kind of exciting. So new adventures. So I'm pleased to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, we will be discussing that, being the first and maybe being a woman, and because I know a lot of what you do relates to women empowerment. I think that's going to be really inspiring for our audience to hear. But before we do that, because you have been with this and you're the founder of the Muslim Sisters of Staten Island, I wanted to ask if you could just introduce us to what the mission of that organization is and some of the activities it's engaged in.
Our mission, the mission of Muslim Sisters of Staten Island is to provide programs and services for the underserved women and children of the community. So we work with Muslims and non-Muslim members of the community to serve them with it, whatever their needs are.
And in your experience, you've shared, is it through Muslim Sisters of Staten Island that you have helped various people? Like maybe what are some of the activities that you've done?
Sure. Some of the activities we have been involved with the food insecurity programs that's been happening through COVID, voter registration, domestic violence workshops. We actually have an event coming up at the end of May, a community baby shower. So we're doing a lot of education within the community about health, wellness. We partnered with Northwell Health, Staten Island University Hospital. We're doing a lot of virtual events, virtual workshops, colorectal health, and anything that has to do with health and wellness, especially in the Black and Brown community. We have been having discussion about that as well. We also partnered with Thrive NYC and the Heal Collective. and Turning Point for Women and Families, which are also a lot of Muslim-based organizations, just to be able to support the different communities that we serve.
That is so important. It's really important, specifically when you say the Black and Brown communities, or those that maybe they need a voice or they need support. And it's how appropriate is it? It's related to health, and you're a healthcare worker yourself. Yes. And, what are if you can think about any of particular experiences that you recall, helping empower someone, is there any stories that you'd like to share of what you've done, particularly that is memorable to you?
Well, one of the things that that's very memorable to me in terms of health, or just women's health in general, is when we had a very impactful workshop with the Heal Collective about postpartum depression. And so I learned so much, as even just because I work in that healthcare field and I work with OBGYN. A lot of times, when you're working in the field, it's very difficult for you to see some of what's going on in the community at times. So actually having these workshops helps me understand my community a lot better, and help me be able to help them navigate through different, health systems that may be difficult for them to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are critical pieces. And I love that you said you're doing a lot of things with coordination of other organizations. So the power of the collective, alhamdulillah, seeing which groups that you can support. And as you said before, it's for the support is going to Muslims and non-Muslims, which is very, very interesting and amazing that is to be done. I know before we were speaking, we were talking earlier today, and I myself was a past Girl Scout, and we need to talk about, I know I mentioned that you served as a leader, but you started the first Muslim Girl Scout group on Staten Island. Is that right?
Yes, actually, myself and my friend Nisa, Lila Pridgeon, actually, she and I started the first Muslim Girl Scout troop here on Staten Island. And we started it initially we started in a masjid, and it just grew from there. And we just moved from one masjid to the next. And alhamdulillah, we were able to have the troop and introduce Girl Scouting to a lot of the girls and the families that had no idea what Girl Scouting was. And to them, it was foreign. They're like, what?
Yeah.
They didn't understand. But as time went on, and they learned about different things, it was easy for them to allow their girls to be a part of this organization and the things that they did, because they really didn't understand the premise of Girl Scouting. And that's actually one of the times that I started really pushing for girl empowerment and women empowerment, because I didn't have anything for my two girls to participate in besides, Arabic and Quran class and this and that. But we, Islam teaches us to have a balance, right?
Yes.
So the Girl Scouting, the Muslim Girl Scouts helped us have that balance when we were doing, teaching our kids about the deen, because the Girl Scouting helped show them that they can work within the community, doing patches and doing community service. And that's what Islam teaches us, to be neighborly, right?
Yes.
And then it's funny because during that time, Girl Scouts started the different patches that faith patches and community service patches. And so the girls interacted with non-Muslim girls as well. So they got to know each other differently. So I thought that was very impactful as well. It helped me figure out that I actually created two Girl Scout patches as well. One for it's called Sadaka patch, and the other one, I think it was I forgot now, but there were two patches that I created because I found that there is a organization called National Organization for Muslim Girl Scouting, I believe it was. And so I got in touch with them. We created the new patches. And so, that's where a lot of my outreach went, because I learned from other people, and people were open to the things that we were doing, and empowering the girls and empowering different things. So actually my journey to empowering women empowerment started with me being a Girl Scout leader.
MashaAllah, that's really inspirational. And, for those that are listening, maybe there are still some that don't know what is Girl Scouts and why they should consider sending their children, or if they know other young girls. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what Girl Scouts does and what it was like for you to have a Muslim Girl Scout troop?
Ooh, you want to hear the funny part about having a Muslim Girl Scout troop?
Sure.
A lot of the girls in my troop weren't even Muslim. That is the craziest part.
Cool.
But like I said, it provided an opportunity to allow the girls to know each other differently and to work together as women in the community, because we're not an island by ourselves, as some people think that you're in a community and you're pocketed somewhere. No, because if something happens, we're all affected, right? So having that opportunity to interact with the community and the young girls in the community that way, and the parents, was very impactful for us, and it helped us look at things differently as a community. And the girls had a good time. The parents got to know a little bit more about Islam. We got to know about their holidays, and the respect, and understanding, was very much increased just from those experiences. So Girl Scouts, an organization that, really started to empower young women. Yes. And over the, oh my goodness, it's many years. I think it's over 100 years that Girl Scout is been empowering young girls, and they continue to do so. And so I'm very proud of, now we have actually 2 troops. Yeah, so, and we're working with the public school community as well. So, it's funny, we started in a masjid, but we ended up in a local public school because they were asking for that support, and we were like, okay, if you have the space, we'll make it happen. And so, having that that ability to interact in those spaces makes such a difference in growing the organization and growing the troops and learning from each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Alhamdulillah. I have so many more questions, but we're going to take a brief pause. Those listening, don't go away. We'll be right back after a brief break.
Imagine the world of an orphan, having no parents, no guardians, living in abject poverty, a bleak life. There is no childhood dream, only insecurity and despair. You can help change that by sponsoring an orphan through Basma. You can change their world. Ensure a better life for an orphan. Help Basma to help them.
Welcome back. So, we've spoken already about your passion for women empowerment, and I want to just allow you to have the stage to speak about, what does women empowerment mean to you? However you want to take this. What does it mean?
Women empowerment. Oh, wow. I was actually reminded this morning by my husband about, and I think it was a proverb. Let me just make sure I get the words right. Hold on a second. Yeah, so it's important for us as women to be empowered.
Yes. Because
we build communities, we build nations, right? So yes, we can teach a man something, but if you teach a woman something, she'll teach the nation. Yes. And so that was the proverb that he mentioned to me, because my husband's been very supportive of the work that I do. So anytime that I have to do anything, he's right there. It's like my biggest fan, my cheerleader. Yeah. So, for me, it just pushes me even more to know that I have a male that's really, supporting me in the way that I need to be supported. And so anything that I'm doing, I always ask his for advice, not necessarily to get his approval, but just for the advice. And alhamdulillah, I must say my husband's been very, very supportive of the work that we do. So he's always in the sidelines and just making sure that whatever we're doing for the women and children, that we're being successful at it.
I mean, inshallah, that's beautiful. I mean, I think that as we were speaking before as well, it's just important. Women being able to have that independence. And I know you're very supportive of those that maybe come for help or you support through your organization. So what are your thoughts about that, of how, the role of a woman and how this all plays a part of you being a Muslim too? I mean, this is Islamic, that, women having empowerment and not having to, having that support from a male is really important, because there are many stereotypes that as a Muslim woman, as a person of color, that we have to dispel sometimes.
Yes, definitely. Oh, wow. The importance of having that support. Being a woman is very challenging, as we all know. But like I said, having that support make things so much easier. And what's important to me about being empowered is that it allows us to navigate and to work in the system and within the community to help others. Because if I'm speaking for myself as a woman, if I don't have self-confidence, I can't give that to my child.
Right.
So it's a trickle-down effect, right? So if I'm not educated, yeah, I might encourage my child to be educated, but where does that leave me as an individual? Because we have to remember, as women and men, we have our own strengths and our own challenges, right? So for us to have an education is important for us to move forward in life. So that's all, we're not just here to have kids and to cook and clean and everything like that. We're here to be a productive member of society and to play a pivotal role in building that nation. So if we are not feeling empowered, or we're feeling, beaten down and broken, how could we produce, or how could we uplift our children and our daughters? Because we have to set good examples for our daughters as well. So if we're being broken down and our daughters are seeing that, it's going to follow that same pattern. And so we're going to have a whole society of women who are beaten down, broken, and can't do anything for themselves and just depending on a male. And it's nothing wrong with being, helped by the male, but I think, it's a good thing for a woman to be able to take care of herself in the event that she her husband's not there, or in the event that she has to do stuff on her own. She has the capability to do so. And so I'm a firm believer on empowering women in ways that will help them to be self-sufficient.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, that's a great point that you've made. And, I think something also, I'm just curious, who has inspired you throughout this journey? It may be some members of your family. I know you've mentioned your husband, but you yourself, your mother, you have 3 children, 2 of them are girls, and then your mother, I'm sure, had an impact to make you who you are today. So do you care to share a little bit more about them?
Sure. My mom, oh my goodness, my mom, I admire my mom so much. And the older I got, I admired my mom's strength, my mom's just ability to rise whenever, she has challenges in life. And I mean, I don't even know where I would be without my mom's support. I know that many times, like if I have a problem, I'll go to my mom. She doesn't even answer me. I just talk and talk and talk. And then she'll just, I get my answers without her even saying anything, which is kind of crazy, right? But just knowing that you have a mom to support you, another woman in your life. And that's why, one of the things when I started this organization, I wanted it to be women-led. I wanted it to be able to empower women so they can play other leadership roles in the community. Yes, we have teachers who are women, and that's fine and dandy, but we want principals to be women, to be the leaders of the top, the top dog, so to speak, in different organizations, corporations. We can do it. There's no reason why we can't. And so I'm here to help, say to these women, listen, you could do anything you want to do, and you can do it. Don't limit yourself because you're a female.
What's your response if someone says to you, oh, but women are weak and women are you already mentioned this, but women are supposed to be at home. So what's your response of that concept? Are women weak?
Women may be physically I don't like using the word weak, honestly.
Yeah.
We're just not, in some instances, not as strong as men, but there are some women that are actually stronger than some men physically. And those are exceptions. However, Allah has created us differently from the men. So we should not compare ourselves to the men. However, we have our strengths that the men can never, ever even compete with, and vice versa. So, Allah created us as men and women for a reason, right? And so we have to understand that and respect that. And men have to respect their roles and respect our roles as women, and not make us feel like, oh, she's so weak, poor little girl or poor lady, she can't do anything. Okay, so we're maybe a little bit more emotional than they are. However, we still have feelings, and we can still do whatever we set our minds to do.
Absolutely. I know when we were speaking before, you were saying that women can be tough, right, when they need to be, and then women can also be soft, right, and tender, and there are those. But regardless of all that, that doesn't mean a woman should be disrespected by anyone.
Absolutely.
And treated with dignity and respect. And I think that's really what I'm hearing from all the things that you're saying. So, do you have any advice for a Muslim sister who's listening, or a Muslim brother, about how to treat others properly? Because you've found yourself in a lot of new positions, in a position, at least right now, where you're the only or the first. And sometimes being the first is celebrated, but it's also very challenging, right? There's a reason there's a first, right? And it's so anything you can share that you've learned from your experiences, maybe if you've ever felt dismissed or felt disempowered, how do you empower yourself when you're in situations?
Wow. Well, that's the story of my life, feeling disempowered. Actually, as at least being in positions where people try to make me feel disempowered, I don't give them that.
Okay.
The reality is that I know my worth. See, if you know your worth, then no one, no matter what they do, can make you feel any less than who you are. So my advice to any woman or man, just know your worth and know what you bring to the table. And then no one else can cut you down and make you feel less. And that's what I continue to push. And like I said, I got that from my mom, because I see my mom struggles and strive and to get what she needed, in a good way. And so that's what we strive to do, myself personally and through the organization as well.
That is really amazing. Alhamdulillah. And we were speaking, you even mentioned earlier today here on this call, on this conversation about, ways that you're interacting with the community. So I think community is really important. What are your thoughts on the importance of us as Muslims interacting with the community? And one of the examples you gave was maybe even helping people register to vote, right? Yeah. So that's a civic engagement task. Why are these things important? What is your take on this?
I mean, whatever others do around us will impact us. So we need to know what's going on in our communities. I mean, our slogan for our organization is "the community is our priority." And we strive to really make that, possible. When there were voters registration time, yes, we're 501c, so we don't deal with politics per se. However, it is our right to vote. So we encourage people to go out and vote whoever they want to vote for. And part of our mission is to promote promote civic engagement. So that's one of the things that we work on when it's needed. People need to know their rights for everything, because that way others can't take advantage of those who don't know their rights. I think it's important for us to learn to be respectful of others, and so people will respect us as well. Inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. I'm just curious as well. I know I mentioned up front that you're an immigrant. You're from the Caribbean, in Jamaica, right?
Yes.
Is there anything, specific or special? We've been asking every person on the show to talk about how they're celebrating Ramadan. So I don't know if there are any cultural things or anything. I don't know much personally about you, about how you celebrate. Is there anything you want to share that's like a tradition or something fun for you?
Well, that's a good question. I am actually a revert to Islam. I was not born Muslim. I wasn't raised Muslim. I actually converted to Islam when I was about 16. Yeah, about 16 years old. I was introduced to Islam. Whatever traditions that I have is basically stuff that I do with my kids. Yeah. Ramadan is important to us because it does help us kind of recharge and refocus. And so I don't really have that many plans because my kids are grown. Well, one is still about 17. But we do try to at least make the salah together. We've been doing a lot of work this Ramadan through the support of Islamic Relief USA with their Ramadan food bags. So they help me a lot, whether it's with media or just coming out and supporting the event and help us pack things or whatever that may be. So I'm so grateful to be able to have my kids also, helping with the organization and watching and seeing it grow.
MashaAllah. No, those are great. You're talking about clearly what you do in every sphere is a way to give back, giving back to the community, giving back to others, and you've given to your children. And it's because your mother gave for you, alhamdulillah. Those are all beautiful, inspirational things. And, I can just recap. This was such an amazing conversation. We learned about your strength as a woman. You shared one of my favorite quotes from you is about knowing your worth. And that's for anybody. It's for anyone, because there will be situations and places where someone purposely or inadvertently may put you down. So you have to know who you are, have that self-confidence. And that's not easy always, but it takes practice. It takes, a support from the community, perhaps, inshallah, and finding a community. And I love that the tagline of Muslim Sisters of Staten Island is "the community is our priority." MashaAllah, that's really important, and you shared all the ways that you do that. Is there anything else that you'd like to, share with the audience or leave us with based on this conversation, or anything at all?
I love being a Muslim, alhamdulillah. My journey to Islam, it continues. I learn, I grow every year, every day, every interaction that I have with Muslims and non-Muslims. Yes. Just having the ability to do the work that Allah has put me here to do, I'm truly grateful.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Yes, it was such a pleasure spending this time with you as we end up Ramadan soon, inshallah. And Jazakallah khair for your time. I really appreciated it. And for those of you that are watching, thank you. Jazakallah khair. This has been an amazing time. We've come live every day during Ramadan to just talk to really amazing people. So Jazakallah khair for your attention during the show, Our Prosperous Ramadan. On behalf of iTVusa and Basma, that we're acknowledging the nonprofit organization, I just want to wish everyone a blessed end almost to Ramadan, yes, inshallah, and almost Eid Mubarak. So yes,
Mubarak.
Yes, Eid Mubarak. Okay, well, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum, sister, and assalamu alaikum to everyone. Thank you.
Your zakat can change lives. It can help them have smiles. It can help them see a future full of opportunities and love. Donate your zakat to our cause to help the orphans, children, and the vulnerable. Your zakat donation has incredible power. Give zakat to Basma to save lives and serve humanity.